Hi there. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can get started with GeoGebra. When you first get to GeoGebra, and you can just Google it to find geogebra.org or bookmark it for future reference, it can be a little overwhelming. So where do I start? Where do I go from here? So just to let you know a few things. So on the left-hand side, they're pretty much the same resources here as you will have in here. It's just about navigating around and finding what do you want to do. So usually what we're going to try to do is find activities that we can share with our students. So great spot to start is classroom resources. Now there are more featured resources down here, as you will see, and you can go through all those, but I thought we'd start here. Now down the road, when you get more familiar with GeoGebra and you have activities that you like, so it's an activity or a book, and I'll explain to you the differences between them, you can favorite them so that you can go to your favorites tab to quickly, easily find them. And then if down the road you've created your own, you can easily find them here as well. Okay, so again, these are the featured resources that were actually on the landing page as well. And feel free, you can click in and dig deep into these activities if you'd like to see what's here. Note this is an American site, so when they say grade 6 to 8, do not assume that's aligning exactly to our grade 6 to 8 curriculum expectations in Ontario. So what I'm going to do is actually scroll down here. And I'm going to think, okay, well, what is exactly my focus for the activity that I'd like to do? So let's do, for example, maybe something with the geometry. And if we're looking down here, so geometry, if I was going to narrow it down here, I could actually look here as well. So I can just scroll to see, hey, what's in here? Keeping in mind, please, that this is all ranges of grades here down to, primary, junior, all the way up to secondary and post-secondary type mathematics as well. So you want to keep that in mind. And in this case, so let's say I wanted to do something in terms of, let's say, area, or if I want to do parallel lines, things like that, you can kind of scroll here to go down to dig deeper. Maybe I think in this case, I'm going to go down to, let's say, plane figures. Let's see what we've got here. All right, so let me scroll down, or even before I even go further, it's like, oh, wait a minute, let's even narrow it down. So let's say we want to talk about area of shapes. That's a good thing to do. Now we've narrowed it down. Let's see what we have here. We have, again, any resource type. I want you to note that there are books and then there are activities. And you can see activities and books. So if I click on activities, now I've narrowed it down to where it's just an activity. And let me just give you an example of what that looks like. Let's go to, let's see. As you can see, some of these are maybe a little more complex than we need. Let's look at the area of a rhombus. Okay, so this is an activity. I'm not going to be doing this with you right now, but you can see this isn't exactly that. This is just an activity. So take a few minutes to interact with the GeoGebra applet below, but after doing so, please answer the questions that follow. So the pink slider controls the size of the angle with the pink vertex. And you can see that here, and that means we can move the slider, and then it could talk about what is the measure of the purple angle, how do we know this to be true, and so on. So we can play around with the actual applet to decide what's what and get a feeling of what the activity is like. Okay, anyways, I just wanted to show you that this is there. This is an activity. And if I were to go back, if I were now to refine my search to books, I will show you the difference. Let's look at parallelograms right here. Now this is a great example of a book versus an activity. There is lessons and practice, and they're listed here as well. There's a lesson and then there's practice. If I were to go into this lesson, they're talking this out. So figures A, B, and C are parallelograms. Figures D, E, and F are not parallelograms. Study the examples and non-examples. What do you notice about the number of sides that a parallelogram has? So it leads the student down this path, and it keeps going further and further, digging into this particular concept so that students can explore and learn. So find the area of each parallelogram, show your reasoning. Okay, and continue. And you can see here now, this is just a lesson piece, and then there's practice. And now this is more like that activity piece where it's just use a pen tool. So now it's not less walking them through what is what. This is where you're actually going to do the work. Okay, so that's the example, the difference between an activity and a book. I want you to be comfortable with that. Explore, play with GeoGebra. So if I click on the GeoGebra thing here, it goes right back to the very beginning again. Classroom resources, dig around. You can favorite those activities, as I mentioned, activities in the books. I'm going to show you that in another video. I'm also going to show you another video how you can take those activities or books and put them into your Google Classroom in various forms. This video would hopefully give you the feel of how GeoGebra can be used to dig down. One last thing is that you may want to do some searching in here. So if you wanted to not have to drill down, if I want to do area of, let's say, triangle. Oops. Helps if I spell it right. It's the area of triangle. And then you can see all the different activities again and again. You can narrow it down by activities and books. And you want to make sure that whatever activity you're doing, you really look at it closely so that it does align with your curriculum expectations before assigning to a student.